Hello, this is Top Preps Player Interviews and Top Preps Exposure Booster Package Interviews by Sunil, Sunder. Today, I'm happy to be speaking with Chris Noble, a senior at Bay High School in Panama City, Florida, and the outside linebacker, edge rusher, and quarterback of the varsity football team. Once again, Chris, thank you so much for the opportunity. Great to be speaking with you, and congrats on your success playing football here in your senior season.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate you taking your time out of your day to do this with me. So I really appreciate it.
No problem. Chris, just again, absolutely phenomenal season. You had, named second team All County, first team All District. Uh, what's so remarkable and unique about you is the amount of positions that you play on a football team. I think it's 10 it is. You're a four sport athlete. You've lettered 10 times in a total of four sports to this date. I mean, just unbelievable, just in terms of your contributions, on the football team. Can you just talk about how fulfilling, it was, again, to be able to excel on the gridiron and again, compete at such a high level?
Yes, sir. Yeah, it was a great feeling. I mean, missing out my junior season. I was really happy to get back out there and just fly around. And it actually meant more to me that now, after sitting out and watching it from the sideline, it meant so much more, to be able to get back out and help the team as much as I could. So it definitely was an experience, not playing and then being able to come back and for my senior year. So it definitely was exciting to get back out there.
Yeah, let's talk about it. I mean, your junior year sustained just an absolutely devastating knee injury. Said your MCL, your ACL. I mean, that's not easy, Chris, to overcome, the rehab process to get yourself back to optimal shape. Can you talk about, just the journey, the grind, just being able to, again, go through that, arduous, said
Mhm.
time in your life and then to come back and just again display like said your skill set and just like again uh I mean the fact on both sides of the ball.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it definitely wasn't fun or easy. I will say playing sports year round and then going to doing pretty much nothing and definitely had a toll on its own.
Yeah.
But I think the PT by itself, it definitely helped. I mean, it gave me something to do, so after
Hmm.
sitting on the couch for 2 weeks and then finally be able to get out and like start working again, I was excited to go to PT every day, felt like I was actually
Hmm.
getting somewhere and you start to saw progress. So, it was tough not being able to play sports for a while, but
Yeah.
physical therapy definitely, there was something there that helped me like know that I was actually making progress and getting back to where I needed to be. So,
Yeah, I mean, just having that mindset, just in terms of being resilient, having that tenacity, just, again, every single day, it's like, repeat, rinse, just, oh, every, that regimen every single day. When just going back to the summertime before the season started, what was just, again, filtering through your mind as, the regular season, approached here, Chris?
yeah, so I knew it was a very important year for me, missing out and not having as much film as I needed. So I knew that summer that I had to put as much work as I could to get me back in shape and ready just to go out and start competing again like I used to.
Yeah. Okay, I gotta ask you, what was, the adrenaline? I'm sure the juices were pumping, said once you got out into the field and, start hitting people and like, said be able to, put up, great stats. Just,
Mhm.
describe that elation.
Yeah, I definitely didn't miss that. That was
Yeah.
it was an awesome feeling. And
Yeah.
it felt even better now. It meant so much more to me. And like every play, it's like I wanted to do something. I wanted to make sure that I was doing something.
Yeah.
Um, it's just sitting there, taking plays off just didn't feel right.
Mhm.
After sitting the whole season out, I wanted to show that I could, play. So
Yeah.
every
I
play.
mean, yeah, and you never did take a play off. I mean, it's like the fact that you were constantly on the field. I said, I mean that's taxing, but I think you really sort of reveled in that and rejoiced that hey, I've been out this long, I might as well be out there all the time, Chris.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. No, it was different, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Hey, And just going back to your junior year, as I mentioned, a four-sport athlete. The fact is that you still were able to, compete in weightlifting. Um, Competed your first year in the 219-pound class, finished
Yeah.
20th in the state of Florida, and also threw the javelin as well. I mean, just again, not worrying about your knee, but just again, just
Mm.
being able to rise above and still succeed. I mean, I'm sure again that was very satisfying for you, Chris.
Yeah, it definitely was. I had never done weightlifting, but it was something that was like I kind of wanted to test the waters first. When we first
Hmm.
started, I started a little late. See if how much the toll it would have on my knee, and I realized that I could do it where I didn't put much strain on it. So I just kept
Hmm.
going with it, and then I just saw results and ended up going to state. And I had a lot of fun, and I thank the coaches that they worked with me in my own
Yeah.
separate way because of my leg. So it definitely was a lot of fun going to
Yeah.
state for the first time.
Yeah, that's wonderful to hear. And hey, I know you posted just recently, 22 months since you last played basketball, and you didn't miss a beat. It said 20 points, 14 rebounds, two blocks, two steals, a double double. I mean, wow, like that is, I mean, I don't think you can script it any better, Chris.
Yeah, no, basketball is always I've always enjoyed playing the sport. Another one of sports that I missed, and it kind of hurt a little bit. So senior year, I mean, it's not like it's going to get me to college, but I enjoyed the
Yeah,
sport. I have some friends on the team, and I'm not going to just go like mess around. I still want to go compete. It's just in
yeah,
me, I guess. I'm very competitive, so
yeah.
yeah,
Let's just talk about again playing both sides of the ball. We've seen the film. The film is just so impressive. The way you're able to get right off the snap, being able to attack. Said whether it's a running or passing play. Just on the defensive side of the ball, again, you've been able to dominate. Chris, talk about that. Like just during the heat of competition,
yeah.
in the trenches,
Mm.
what those moments said entail for you.
Yeah, so I honestly I haven't played much defense my whole life. I've always on the
Hmm.
offense side of the ball. So
Yeah,
getting on the defensive side, I honestly it was like this switch that I could just turn on. There wasn't
yeah.
much thinking I had to do. It was just war. Like I was just against. I had this one dude. I have to beat him. So it was just a war with that one dude the whole game, and I just wanted to
Hmm.
just get to the
Yeah.
quarterback. I guess because I was edge rushing most of the time, but
Yeah.
it was a an experience that I wasn't used to, but I definitely had fun.
Yeah.
Offense, it's a lot of thinking. You have to think about where you're like what you're gonna do, lead coverages, all this stuff. But defense, it
Hmm.
was just I got to just use my athleticism for a chance and
Yeah.
just go play.
Yeah. No doubt about it. The fact is that you're able to move around on the line and really, the offense is just, they're not prepared for that. They're not equipped in just in terms of how to react to that. And the fact is that, again, you can gain that advantage, said on the offensive lineman. But on the flip side, talk about, again, with offense playing, quarterback. I'm sure those reps during the summer, working with the wide receivers, then, of course, handoffs with the running back,
Yeah.
being in sync with your offensive lineman. As you say, it takes a village and for all 11 guys to be on on that cohesive level and just
Mhm.
communicate with each other. Talk about that, being able
Yeah.
to, exhibit that leadership again on the field.
Yeah, so I've always kind of had the leadership role. I played quarterback most of my life.
Hmm.
The linemen, that's a big start with the
Yeah.
offense. If have them on your side, and I would make sure they're happy and they're doing what they need to do to protect me because I mean that's where the protection comes from. So I definitely
Hmm.
was very close with those guys.
Yeah.
I knew the running backs I was close with too. I did, weightlifting with some of them, and I knew some of them, when I was in middle school. So like we already had a good connection with
Yeah.
them, and the receivers, they were athletic; they could go do whatever. So I think for me, it was just being confident in myself, especially with the
Hmm.
knee. Because I was more of
Yeah.
a run heavy quarterback, so just making sure I was. By the end of the year, I could tell that I could make more cuts, and I feel like our offensive line, stepped up big time by the end of the year, and
Yeah.
so I felt safer and just we could play more. So.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that point up because I wonder if you're that cognizant, like knowing when you took those hits, and the protection I know is so critical, but for you just to get again over that, that hump, just knowing, okay, you know what, I'm gonna be good, to go. I even if I get hit. I'm gonna just get right back up and attack the
Mhm.
next play, Chris.
Yeah. So I think for me, I always have those nerves going into a game. What if I take
Yeah,
a hit wrong way?
yeah,
But once I get a hit, either I hit someone first or they hit me after that first hit, then I just locked in and I'm ready to go.
yeah.
I mean, the doctors have said it. It's this the chances of me re-tearing anything in my knee is the same as tearing something in my other knee. So I
Yeah.
just try to keep it on my mind, not focus on it too much, and just go play.
Yeah, no, definitely. Hey, let's talk about your sophomore year. Second team All County, and you were playing wide receiver, also, as you said, quarterback, started both ways. Uh, just the progression, from year to year. But again, it said, with your junior year, it said out the window. But then the fact that here now, I'm sure every game you just soaked it in, like, just those moments, on the field, the sidelines, just looking around, like, because I mean, with
Yeah, for
high
sure.
school football, with the fans, with the cheerleaders, the band. I mean,
Of
it's just
course,
something
yeah.
again, like, you don't take for granted. You really do, that's something you definitely, it said cherish, as I said.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So my sophomore year, I had a lot of fun. I had some good success at wide receiver and tight end, and a little bit of safety.
Hmm.
So that was the first year I really, had a lot of fun and just enjoyed the season.
Yeah.
So I was ready the next year to go into it, and it didn't happen. So yeah, definitely. Even just when I'm sitting on the sideline, taking a break or something, it was just I'm looking around. It's just a different feeling that you don't
Yeah.
get that often. So.
Yeah. And also running track, I think cross country. I mean, just the fact that you're, again, staying, consistent in terms of your training, but also improving your fundamentals and skills. And I think that's what's great because I mean, there's so much, I was going to ask you about strength and conditioning, nutrition, mental health. I mean, we always talk about the physical part, but also
Mhm.
mentally too. But talk about, like, just being able to have that perfect, blueprint in order to, again, succeed on the field.
Yeah. So, with being hurt, I had a lot of free time, where I
Hmm.
was able to, bulk up a bunch, honestly,
Yeah.
and just hit the weights. I mean, so that was
Hmm.
a big part of it, I think. Nutrition, yeah, big thing. Make sure you get a protein in, trying
Hmm.
to get that bigger size. So
Yeah.
you're more protected. So, like, especially with my leg, I made sure that I was still, even after physical therapy, continuing to like work out and hit
Hmm.
legs and make sure that it's safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, mentally it was a struggle during the actual surgery, but as soon as I was able to get off the couch and just do stuff, I just was
Yeah.
engaged and just ready to go. So
Yeah. No, again, a testament to your character and just, like, in terms of being able to, make that comeback because not everybody can do so. It's, again, a very debilitating, say injury,
mhm.
especially when you talk about the knee. And the fact is that, look, over the summer, the spring, you attended camps as well. I saw University of South Florida, Georgia Tech. I'm sure that was crucial in terms of getting yourself, like, I said, back to again where you were before, I said the knee injury. Describe that. I'm sure, like, being with other athletes, learning from the coaches,
Mhm.
just again taking in those moments. I'm sure that aided you and benefited, so much, especially, during the season.
Yeah, so going to those colleges, it showed, more drive for me to want to be able to get to a college
Hmm.
level. And you do all the 40 times and all that stuff. So I was able to kind of gauge where I was at compared to
Yeah.
before. Some of the stuff was better, some of it was a little worse, still
Hmm.
kidding, like still like in a knee brace, so it still slowed me
Yeah.
down a little bit. But it definitely showed me where I was at and where I needed to be and what I needed to work on.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was helpful.
Yeah, that's great. Hey, let's talk about game day and practices, putting the pads on, the helmet, the Tornadoes number 13 jersey and helmet. What is that?
Mhm.
What did that represent to you personally, Chris?
Um, it was a new role that I had. I
Hmm.
mean, I did transfer schools, but
Hmm.
it was just something my parents and I had thought it was mainly a safety issue. It was
Yeah.
nothing against the coaches that came in and all that
Hmm.
stuff. But
Yeah.
I'd already made a decision that I was going to stick it through with those guys. So that's what I did. I did whatever I could to make sure that they had the best season possible.
Hmm.
tried to be a leader when I could. I didn't grow up with those guys, but I
Yeah.
definitely still talk to some of them. I'm close with them, so it was
Yeah.
definitely an experience, and I enjoyed the whole thing.
Yeah, no, that's outstanding to hear. And look, you need, of course, the expertise of a coaching staff. Talk about how much, head coach, the rest of the, I said, assistants, how much, they meant to you, especially here in your senior year.
Yeah, so Coach Brown, he was definitely wonderful.
Hmm.
Like another father. When and it wasn't just me; it was all the kids. You could tell he loved all of us. If we needed something, he was there for you. I still text him; he still helps me out. If a college recruiter
Hmm.
goes to the school, he'll let me know. He'll talk to me about it. So he definitely keeps me in the loop.
Yeah.
Some other coaches, I did weightlifting with before, so I was already really close with them. So it
Hmm.
was already had a good connection with them, and they were really nice to me. So it was a good experience overall.
That's tremendous to hear. Hey, there's nothing about better than Friday night lights, Saturday afternoons during the fall. I'm sure playing those home games at Bay High School, and on the flip side, the road games, just that electricity environment, but the friendships that you gain, that brotherhood. Just talk about that. I said, I'm sure that's, again, it's something that's going to last a long time,
Mhm.
our lifetime with you. And never easy taking that jersey off for the last time, Chris. Just what were those moments? I'm sure very emotional, for you as well.
Yes, of course. Yeah. So it was hard towards the end of the season knowing that it was about to end.
Yeah.
I had a ton of fun with those guys, and we went to war together. So it definitely was emotional that last game that we had played.
Hmm.
But it wasn't in the sense that it was bad. We left it
Yeah.
out on the field. So it was happy. It was good
Hmm.
emotions. Just sad that it ended. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I think it went the way that it needed to go.
Yeah, no, it's again, that's fantastic to hear. Look, not only an accomplished athlete, but student athlete, and that's what people always, focus in on. You've been absolutely able to excel in the classroom, a 4.3 GPA, I said AP honors classes. I mean, but again, everyone has to have that time management organization down pat. You obviously be able to meet the challenge. I'll talk about that because there's so much that goes into it between,
Mhm.
team meetings, lips, watching film. I mean, then you talk about practices, game time, whether home or away. But obviously, you've just been able to really like be laser focused and just again find that perfect balance just to be able to flourish. Just describe that, Chris.
Yeah. So, the name student athlete, student does come first. And
Yeah.
especially my parents, they helped me out with that. But understanding that,
Hmm.
the grades are very important. The sports come afterwards. So make sure I stay on top of my grades. Do what I got to do in the
Hmm.
classroom, and not like when I get home, make sure that I have my stuff done.
Hmm.
And then still, obviously, have all the time for lifting and
Yeah.
practice and games and all that. So
Yeah.
it's definitely, you have to do this, this, and this.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot of free time, but
Yeah.
still enough free time so you're mentally okay and good to go, to keep
Yeah.
going. So
Yeah.
yeah.
No, definitely. Hey, it takes a structure, in terms of the high school as well. Talk about Bay High School in terms of the administration, athletic departments. I mean, I'm sure student, body student sections,
Mhm.
definitely, said having that, at your back during the games. But again, how again important was that? Just to function and just to
Yeah.
have all the resources available, for you.
Yeah, so Bay, it was a different. It was wonderful actually. You could tell everybody cared about the
Hmm.
sports and the kids on the team. It was a different environment. They all cared for the players.
Yeah.
So they're very welcoming and helpful to the students. If they miss games,
Hmm.
they're really like helpful about making stuff up and making sure you're not getting behind. But even at games, like everyone's there. They're all really supportive. All the teachers go. Like everyone cares. So it was a big
Yeah.
community, and I was glad to be welcomed and like in part of that. So it was awesome.
Yeah, it's spectacular to hear. Hey, let's actually before I get to your family, I wanted to ask you turn to the support from the community because I think that's just as vital to have like people come in. said support the team, the high school. Talk about that component because I'm sure that's something that you guys, look forward to as well as a
Yeah.
football team.
So community that helps out a ton. We did a lot of fundraisers.
Hmm.
Charter buses and team equipment, new helmets, new jerseys. We got all of that this
Yeah,
year, and it's not cheap. So all the
yeah,
fundraisers we did and all the help we got from family members and the community around us was very helpful and vital
yeah,
to some of our success that we got. So
yeah,
yeah, they definitely helped out a lot, and we tried to give back when we can, and just be thankful to have them a
yeah.
part of it. So.
Yeah, that's magnificent to hear because those are the behind the scenes moments that a lot of people don't get to see. Yeah, let's talk about family. You come from a very prestigious family. Your mom is a teacher. Your dad is retired for the Navy, but still works as a Navy civilian within the U.S. Navy SEALs. You have four siblings, with two
Mhm.
of them adopted.
Yep.
How much have they? They played obviously a pivotal role in your success. Again in high school, athletically, academically, but just with your parents, with your siblings, just I'm sure just having that connection, having a tight knit bond is again very meaningful to you, Chris.
Of course, yeah. So starting with my parents, I may not have liked it as much growing up. They're very strict, but I
Hmm.
definitely am very happy that I was raised the way I am.
Yeah.
Stay in line, do what I have to do. And I,
Hmm.
you know, get good grades and not out doing stupid stuff that might mess up my
Yeah.
career. So
Yeah.
I think a lot of my successes because of them, especially my dad. He does a lot for me.
Yeah.
So I definitely wouldn't be where I'm at without them. My
Hmm.
siblings, I'm second oldest, so I'm grateful to have my older sister. We're really close, but besides
Hmm.
that, me and my older sister, we try to take care of our younger siblings. It's
Hmm.
almost kind of that leadership role you got to get on the field. Taking
Yeah.
care and making sure that they're doing okay and they're doing what they need to be doing and keeping them in check too. So
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. I mean, just to be able to set that example. And then just having that discipline and those values and beliefs again, as I said, they really do uh, make a difference. Hey, this is a long-winded question, but just about the game of football, you've been playing it, for a long time, and I know you
yeah.
played, I said other sports as well. But what is it about the game of football that makes it just so special to play, just so unique, just in terms of the intangibles, whether it's on or off the field, that just again, it brings out that competitiveness, that fire inside your belly, Chris.
Yeah, so I've played, almost every sport out there. Not really, but I've played a lot of them.
Hmm.
Football
Hmm.
is definitely on a whole another level.
Yeah.
It's just so much more real. It's the contact, the just the constant just battle. It's
Hmm.
definitely different. Something
Yeah.
that I take a lot of joy in. Actually, I think it's definitely not meant for everyone. I think that's something I like about it is not everyone's meant for it. So I
Yeah.
think that's
Yeah.
that's something that it's me and other guys, we have pride in. A lot of the
Hmm.
other people outside of the sport, may hate or maybe just don't think it's like that insane, but it's definitely a lot different and harder than most people think it is. Just the constant just hitting and just
Hmm.
running around and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
I think it's different than most other sports.
I think so. I mean, it's so exhausting and taxing, you said. And the fact is, once you wrap up one season, you're 6 weeks later, not even that, you're back in the weight room and then, getting prep for, the following season. So there's never a day off. And I've said it,
Yeah.
it's 24/7, 365. If you want to be the best at your craft and your position, you have to put in the time and you can't, slack off or slouch, or that's going to cost you, I said once you get to the regular season, so obviously you have to buy in to the whole program.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So the off season is a big part of it. Especially the last one.
Hmm.
I had a little QB group that I went with every like Saturday.
Hmm.
Just made sure I had something just to keep me going and keep me in
Yeah,
rhythm and in check, just so I was ready to come out and play.
I'm sure
And
the
then
technology has changed as well. Like just I mean it's night and day, and just I think there are certain methods that you can implement. I'm sure, of course, with strength and conditioning as well, but
Mhm.
that could really again put you in a different category as well, Chris.
Yeah. I think technology wise, being able to watch film all the time, having that access just on my
Yeah.
phone, I could just go and just watch the next team we're playing or look at
Hmm.
our playbook and just try to get ahead, ahead of time.
Yeah.
I think that's a big advantage that we have nowadays.
Yeah. Hey, this is a great segue to social media because I wanted to get into those highlight videos, Huddle, X formerly known as Twitter. There's
Mhm.
Instagram. We're doing this top preps exposure booster package interviews. Here, Blaine Randall, GBR GFX, is going to create, said the image, said for you. And, again, be able to have again all these resources, just have at your disposal, be able to
Mhm.
get your name out there in
Of
front of
course,
the
yeah.
country, coaches, recruiters, scouts. I'm sure that's something like you really do appreciate because like the fact that it's right there at your fingertips and you're able to drop that content.
Yes, of course. It's just so much easier nowadays. I mean, if
Yeah.
I would have, done had happened what I had like with my knee surgery and missing film 10, 15 years ago, I think it'd be a lot harder for me to be able to show coaches that I can play. So
Hmm.
having, access to all these coaches and being able to send all this stuff out and have it be seen is, I think it's going to help me. It's helped me a lot.
Yeah.
Just being able to have my access. So
Yeah. And it's led to multiple college offers. I'm sure for you that, just I mean, being able to, you're recognized by, colleges across this country. That's just like, something that is just icing on the cake for you right now, Chris.
yeah, so it's definitely not something everybody has. So I try to
Yeah.
take all of them for granted.
Yeah.
All of them are very special. And I would say that my dad has helped out with a lot of it. So I definitely
Yeah.
have to give thanks to him for all of this. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just thankful to have the opportunity to go and play the next level.
Yeah, that's fabulous to hear. Hey, so much pressure. I said, I don't know when you get sleep and you get I don't think you get a day off here, but I know some of your hobbies, of course, weightlifting, fishing, and photography. Just having that
Mhm.
relaxation, peace of mind,
Yeah,
just a sense of tranquility. What is that? Those moments, encompass for you, Chris? Just
yeah,
that you're able to kick back and just free your
yeah.
mind, like, from everything you have to deal with, of course, with that athletics, academics as well.
Yeah, so it definitely is nice, having something just to fall back on, with
Hmm.
football and all the grades and stuff, it gets stressful and it really does. And I think it's great to have something that you can go do and just clear your mind and just be in the present future and just
Yeah.
not have to worry. So fishing, listen to music, sometimes photography. I had a couple of classes
Hmm.
like that where I could just get away, and just not have to really think about much. To just
Yeah.
clear my head, and then honestly, that recharges, your mental battery just to go back out and keep going and keep
Yeah.
driving. So
Yeah. Yeah. Good points made. Hey, when it comes to the NFL, I had to ask you about this. Any particular players that you pay close attention to, especially on the whether it's defense, offense, that might stand out, and you sort of try to maybe take away some of their tendencies, and maybe try to apply it to your game as well, Chris.
yeah, I wouldn't say there's really any in particular. I would say
Okay.
that, when I do sit down and watch the game, I do try to, like, especially
Yeah.
on defensive end, like I don't have much practice at it. So every time I sat on and
Hmm.
watched, I made sure that I was, watching their moves and some
Hmm.
of the stuff that they were doing, because I mean, that's a whole other level. Like, and they have to use those
Yeah.
to get past guys. So,
Yeah.
it's definitely something I knew that I had to look at and try to learn myself. So it
Yeah.
definitely is helpful.
Yeah, that's very good. Hey, before you get the final word and message here, Chris, yeah, I just think again, you're just really a perfect role model, because of what, you've had to endure here, the past couple of years and, being on this journey and then to see again the comeback story here and, you being able to again just showcase your talent on the field. Younger kids, of course, are at these games, athletes,
Of
and
course,
they're
yeah.
there. You were there at one point, so
Of
I'm
course,
wondering,
yeah.
like, for you, it's probably a full circle moment now because, like, you're again setting that example for those kids. What advice or message would you have? Because I mean, the competitors out there, and there's social media. There's I mean, so many factors out there. But what would you say to them if they were to watch this, just like, in terms of navigating, so those, sometimes, bumpy waters and, trying to move up that ladder and be
Mhm.
successful, whether it's football or, even another
Yeah,
sport.
yeah, yes, sir. Yeah, I think for me, I would say is to try to stay as humble as you can.
Hmm.
Nowadays, with social media and like trying to become like this, be what other players are, they're
Yeah.
doing. I think trying to stay humble, working on your own craft.
Hmm.
Everyone has their own experience and journey, and I think that
Yeah.
they shouldn't judge it off of someone else.
Yeah.
Just having your own, path that you have to take and do what you have to do. So.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think excellent, said points and advice, for the kids out there. I just one popped into my head here is that if you recall the first time that you put a jersey on, a helmet, the pads, and even that first time, here even maybe in the high school level, of course with Bay High School, and just what that, I'm sure again, a lot of fond memories, said,
Oh yeah.
just
So
over the
those are
years.
definitely moments that I'm going to look back, when I'm older, because I mean, football is
Yeah.
not going to last forever. So
Yeah.
it's definitely going to be some good moments that I'll get to look back and just rejoice of. just think of those times. I got to put on the
Yeah.
jersey and just have fun and be a kid. So
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, I did when I was a kid. I definitely had a player or two that I looked up that was in the high school level, and
Hmm.
as a little kid, it was like that was my whole world. Like they were this huge idol to me. So
Yeah.
it's been nice to have to almost be that same role to some other younger kids. So
Yeah, no, definitely. Hey, Chris, well deserved here. You get the final word and message for family, friends, teammates, coaches at Bay High School, and of course the community of Panama City, Florida. So, wanted to give you the floor. I'm sure there are a lot of people you want to thank here, Chris.
so definitely want to start with my dad, my mom. Wouldn't be where I'm at without them. They do so much. I would like to thank all the coaches at Bay High School. I wasn't there for long. Almost just under a year, and they were welcoming and they did what they could. To make sure that I had the season that I needed for my senior year. So definitely a lot of thanks to them, and I appreciate everything they have done. Besides that, teachers, I had to bounce around a little bit. They've worked with me, made sure that my grades have stayed up, and so I definitely thank all the teachers that have helped me along the way and just kind of helped me. All these people helped mold me, who I am today. So I just have to give thanks to them, and it's because of them that I am who I am. So
Well said. Hey, once again, Chris, a true honor and privilege being able to speak with you. Congrats on your success. Especially playing football, but also again, with other sports, with basketball, with track, uh, weightlifting, and wishing you continued success playing football, and can't wait to see what you do, at the next level in college. Come this time next year.
yes, sir. Yeah, I do appreciate you taking your time and doing this. I really do. So
Great, thank you.
yeah, thank you.